You know, guys, of the four, or let's call it maybe five major types of whiskey, Tennessee whiskey is one of the most ambiguous, I feel, personally, right? You know, you get bourbon, you got Tennessee whiskey, you got Scotch, Irish, and then Japanese, and then everything else is kind of a subcategory, right? So when you think of Tennessee whiskey, maybe you think of Jack Daniels. Or maybe you're some kind of a sadist and you think Tennessee whiskey and you think George Dickel. But there's another distillery out there that has been kind of making waves as of late, and I am going to take a look at some of their bottles tonight. Hit that intro. Hey guys, welcome back to T-Rod Whiskey. Appreciate you swinging by. If you could, just do me the honor, smash that subscribe button, please. Hit the like button, leave a comment down below. We need to feed the algorithm overlords as often as possible. So Tennessee whiskey, right? What is it? What does it mean? So let's just get this out there. Tennessee whiskey is bourbon, okay? I'm not looking for an argument. It is. Some of you are going to just flame me in the comments, or you're going to leave nasty PMs or DMs, or maybe you'll just think bad thoughts about me. I honestly don't care. But really, the Lincoln County process is subtractive, not additive, whatever. So, you know, you got your Jack Daniels, you got your George Dickel, Corsair, they're a fun one. Now there's also King's Family, and not knocking them. They're doing some great things there. But there is another distillery in particular that I have only ever really seen at allocated bottle drops out of the state. We unfortunately do not get their distribution here in Michigan. That distillery that I'm talking about is Leipers Fork. Now, they were very, very kind and sent me not only this sample of, this is their 4-year bottled and bond Tennessee whiskey. I also got samples of their 5-year bottled and bond bourbon and their 5-year bottled and bond rye. But the one we're going to talk about today is that Tennessee whiskey. Now, a couple things about Leipers Fork, right? They're located in Franklin, Tennessee. They've been around since 2016, and they specialize in small batch whiskey. So they're not trying to get into that single barrel game. They're not trying to do any kind of crazy experimental mash bills. They just want to focus on the terroir of whiskey, and they want to focus on making really, really good small batch whiskeys. So terroir, that's a fun, fancy $5 word, right? So here's the thing, 100% mashed, 100% distilled, 100% fermented, 100% aged, and 100% bottled right there in their facility. And all the grains are sourced from, I think, like within 15 miles of the distillery. So you got that Tennessee limestone water, and then you've got extremely local grains, and then everything is processed in-house, making this an extremely unique craft product. Now, these guys are only putting out about 25,000 gallons a year, which is not that much. That's not a bad thing, but not that much. So to think about it, they're really very focused on terroir, and they're really like a low volume, low impact production facility, okay? So they're focusing on making good whiskey, not a lot of whiskey. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of get into this, and we're gonna see how it is. So the specs, obviously it's 100 proof because it's bottled and bond, but it is 70% corn, 15% rye, 15% malted barley. This was sent to me for free for purposes of this review. That's not going to impact anything, but I just want to be transparent that I did not have to pay anything for this sample. So, well, haven't got into this yet. It's got good color to it, though. I'm kind of excited. It's also a Sunday. This is not my first sip of whiskey tonight, thank God. So hopefully the palate will be a little bit more primed. So I'll get it in the copita here. And spin, spin, spin. And it already looks fairly viscous, right? I'm already seeing some good viscosity here, which is good. Huh. Oh. So that's very woody. Something else in there that I'm just not picking up on. A little bit of spice. Okay, this is gonna sound a little bit weird, but the thing that's jumping out at me is if any of you guys ever had like the Brockers gummy candies, like the assorted gummy candies that were either shaped like dinosaurs or birds or something like that. Like that's kind of what I'm getting off of this. Just like almost like a synthetic fruitiness. That oak, a little bit of vanilla. But it's an intriguing nose, and it coats really, really well on the glass, which makes me think that this is going to linger a good long time on my palate. So let's go in. Cheers. Ooh, damn it. That's pretty all right. That has definitely got like a Tennessee whiskey funk to it. I say funk because I don't really have another word for it, like a vibe. Whiskeys don't really have a vibe. And honestly, I feel like I'm too old to use that word. But it definitely has like that Tennessee whiskey characteristic to it. Classical oak, caramel, vanilla, a little bit of like there's like a marshmallow fluff on like the back end of this. So it's a little bit sweet. There's something up front that I know I've tasted before and I'm having trouble picking it out right now. A little bit of like an herbalness, maybe herbiness, herbaceous quality. Is that, I don't know. My adjectives are all over the place tonight. As far as Tennessee whiskeys go, definitely your bourbon drinker's Tennessee whiskey, not your rye drinker's Tennessee whiskey. It's good. There's something there that is lingering, and I don't know if it's like a leather note. It's not leather, it's sweeter than that. Almost like reminiscent for me of like a pipe tobacco, like a sweet pipe tobacco that just kind of, it's like locked on the mid palate and like refuses to let go. What? Yeah, there's like an earthy, yeah, I'm going to say it's like tobacco kind of note. It's got an earthy quality on the very, very finish, but it's not on like the back finish. It's on like the front of the palate finish. So it coats extremely well. This is very oily, very viscous. I don't know if you guys can tell in the glass, it's just taking its sweet time. So it clings for a good long time. And I mean, at 4 years old, this is not an unimpressive whiskey. Normally Tennessee whiskeys are not necessarily my jam. This one's pretty good though. It's not earth shattering. It's just well crafted. It really just kind of flows together well. In terms of what it does, it's not going to set the world on fire, but I don't know if it's necessarily designed to. I think it's just supposed to be a really, really good quality classical whiskey. And I think for that, it really does what it's intended to do. For a distillery that's truly a craft brand, right? It's truly a craft distillery, small, definitely doing good things, but they're doing it the right way. They're doing it on small scale. They're not trying to, blow the whiskey world apart and change how everything's done. They're just doing their whiskey their way. And I can respect that. And for some, operation that is doing everything in-house, that is sourcing everything from basically a stone's throw down the road, I think that this is fantastic. I think it's awesome. Now, in terms of my palate, I would give this one, got to give it a score. Tennessee whiskey, not exactly my jam. So again, this is my opinion, nobody else's. I would give this one maybe like a 5.7 for me. It's good, not great. It doesn't hit any of the notes particularly hard. I feel like it could have been a little bit more impactful and a little bit more, it needs a little bit more depth. I don't want to say it was one note, but it wasn't as complex as I was kind of hoping out of a 5-year bottled and bond Tennessee whiskey, especially one that has such commitment to that craft, to that craft heritage, right? Where they're kind of doing things their own way. I was, even if it's bad, if it's like real bad, I can admire the commitment. This just falls a little bit short for me. Now, I'm really eager to get into the other two bottles, and I'm not trying to knock down Leipers Fork by any stretch. Again, this is just my opinion. This is what I happen to think. So look out for future reviews of these. If you're into Tennessee whiskey, if you like George Dickel, this is nothing like George Dickel. This does not have that minerally quality that George Dickel has. If you like Jack Daniels, this is a little bit more reminiscent of Gentleman Jack for me. So I think for Tennessee whiskey, on my palate, it needs a little bit more proof. But if you are a fan of Tennessee whiskeys, this is one to maybe keep on your radar. I think it's good. Again, not great. It's just my palate. I appreciate the samples. I definitely appreciate the opportunity to review all of these. I can't wait to dive into the other two. But that's it for me, guys. I hope everybody has a fantastic week, and I will see you next time. Cheers.